While here at home, a freak accident turns a war movie set into real-life disaster.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most disturbing twists of fate connected to scary movies.
The set caught on fire one weekend when no one was there.
Number 10, A Body Washed Ashore, the Amityville Horror. This remake of the 1979 horror classic was plagued by creepy events throughout filming. Loosely based on a true story, it follows George and Kathy Lutz and their 3 kids, who move into an old house just a year after 6 gruesome murders took place there.
What's the catch? There's always a catch.
There was a tragedy, a crime, a murder.
I'm sorry, what?
In the house?
First, the real Kathy Lutz died during the first week of shooting at just 57 years old. Then a dead body surfaced in the lake next to the property, while the cast and crew were filming in the boathouse.
Did anything crazy happen on the set while you were shooting?
Well, the first thing to happen was Kathy Lutz passing away. That was definitely very sad for everybody and creepy for me. And then a dead body surfaced in the lake, which was interesting.
According to Ryan Reynolds, several people involved with the film also began waking up at 3:15 a.m., the time when the real murders supposedly took place. The experience was no doubt deeply unsettling for everybody involved.
We're losing each other. Don't you see that? We stay here, we'll have a house for the family, only there won't be a family!
Number 9, prop storage burned down, The Possession. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a self-professed skeptic, but even he was weirded out by the strange things that happened on this set.
Who are you? What do you want with my little girl? You tell me!
The movie revolves around an antique wooden box said to house a malicious spirit. Throughout production, bizarre events continually disrupted filming. But that's not even the strangest part. After the shoot wrapped, the props were put into storage, including the wooden box.
This movie was inspired by a true story about the people who actually found a dipper box. And then all sorts of weird things started happening.
Even though it sounds sort of like mystical or like a fairy tale, it is a real thing.
Just a few days later, the storage facility burned to the ground. The cause of the fire was later determined to be an accident, but it's still an extremely eerie coincidence.
Even in the face of this evil, our faith must remain unwavering.
Okay, please go.
The oil of 2 olive trees. Oil represents light, water represents darkness. May God separate between these two, as only light can dispel darkness.
Number 8, the cinematographer lost an eye, Maximum Overdrive. This production must have been cursed. The movie is based on a story by Stephen King, and it's the only film he ever directed.
Honey, come on over here, sugar buns. This machine just called me an asshole!
Not only did he have no idea what he was doing, he later admitted that he was on substances the whole time. Shooting was interrupted when a hurricane hit the set, but the biggest tragedy was what happened to cinematographer Armando Nanuzzi. While filming a scene featuring a killer lawnmower, King insisted on keeping the blades in, even though they weren't visible in the shot. The mower struck a piece of wood, sending a shard into Nanuzzi's eye, which was damaged beyond repair. It was a real-life case of a machine seriously injuring someone, exactly what the film is about.
Wanna know? Bill, goddammit, let go of me!
We made you!
Wanna know? Get back here!
Can't you understand?
Wanna know?
You can't do this! We made you!
Number 7, horrific accidents on set. Resident Evil, The Final Chapter. Zombie movies are usually pretty gory, but the injuries aren't supposed to be real. During filming, Mila Jovovich's stunt double, Olivia Jackson, suffered a terrible accident. While riding a motorcycle at high speed, she crashed into a crane that didn't move fast enough.
Olivia Jackson is speaking out exclusively to ABC News, suing Resident Evil producers after she lost an arm in what she describes as a haphazardly planned stunt gone terribly wrong.
Her face was crushed, and she suffered brain trauma and multiple broken bones. Several nerves were torn out of her spinal cord, and her left arm had to be amputated. She spent 2 weeks in a medically induced coma and later successfully sued the producers.
The movie's producers misled her into believing that their insurance would cover any potential injuries sustained on the job. She says that after the accident, they promised to provide full financial support of all medical expenses, but later reneged and only paid a small fraction.
Just 3 months after her accident, another crew member, Ricardo Cornelius, was crushed to death by a Hummer on set. It's probably a good thing that this was the last movie in the original series.
Now she and her attorneys are calling for change in Hollywood, hoping her loss will prevent others from experiencing tragedy.
I'd love to make everybody aware of these situations like this, so that they can take better care of themselves again, so that it doesn't happen again.
Number 6, falling light fixture, Annabelle.
But then things got worse.
How did you end up with it?
It was a gift from my mom for my birthday. I don't know where she got it, but we are beyond terrified.
Plenty of occult enthusiasts think that the real Annabelle doll is actually haunted, but what about the replica used for this movie? The cast and crew have good reason to think it might be too, thanks to a freaky occurrence that happened during production.
I am here playing a demon, and I'm the composer as well.
Our composer is also our demon. And that was the case on both Insidious movies, Bathsheba and The Conjuring was Joe as well, and I figured, my gosh, I got to carry the tradition forward.
It's kind of a Zen process, really. It's really kind of you have to sort of settle into it and surrender.
After getting into full demon makeup for the first time, actor Joseph Bashara took the apartment building elevator up to the set. Right behind him was Christopher Shaw, whose character Fuller, the building manager, was eventually cut from the final film. As he and the demon walked down the hallway, a light fixture suddenly fell directly onto Shaw's head. The really freaky part? In the original script, the demon kills Fuller in the elevator on that floor. Number 5, claw marks. The Conjuring. Annabelle wasn't the only movie in the Conjuring universe to have weird things happen during production.
Something awful happened here, Ed.
Those bruises. They're from something that happened here?
Star Vera Farmiga had been researching her character, Lorraine Warren, on the computer before a phone call with director James Wan. When she reopened her laptop immediately after the talk, she found 3 distinct lines, like claw marks, on the screen. Even creepier, on the day that she finished her part in the film, Farmiga discovered 3 bruises on her leg similar to the marks on her screen.
I felt fortified by my own faith. Yes. And my prayers were enough to kind of just dissipate whatever that thing that was trying to scare me.
Annabelle director John Leonetti also reported finding 3 claw marks in the dust on a window while prepping a set for shooting that film. Are we absolutely sure that demon isn't real?
Give her back to me.
Number 4, helicopter crash. Twilight Zone, the movie. This incident was a true tragedy. While filming a scene at night, star Vic Morrow and 2 young children were killed when a helicopter crashed on top of them.
In California, they were filming a war movie today when suddenly a helicopter carrying a camera crew crashed right in the middle of the action.
The stunt crew had set off some explosive too close to it, causing the tail rotor to detach and the helicopter to spin out of control. Worst of all, the kids shouldn't have even been there. Director John Landis skirted child labor laws to enable them to work at night and around explosives.
A deputy state labor commissioner says the youngsters probably were working illegally, noting that actors under 16 are not permitted to work late at night without special permission.
But what makes this a super creepy coincidence is something that happened 9 years earlier. Before filming a helicopter scene in another movie, Morrow reportedly insisted on a $1 million life insurance policy because he'd always had a feeling he'd die in a helicopter crash. Number 3, so many deaths. The Exorcist. An actor dying during production isn't that unusual, but multiple people connected to the film all dying in a short span of time? That's weird.
There were 9 deaths, which is an enormous amount of deaths connected with the film. Some very directly, like the actor Jack McGowan, who gets killed in the film, completed shooting, and died.
Vasiliki Maliaros, who plays Father Karas's mother, died just before the movie was released. and actor Jack McGowan died shortly after. Both of their characters also die in the movie. Max von Sydow's brother and Linda Blair's grandfather also passed away during filming.
Of course, it always makes for great stories about what happens, if it was cursed or whatever.
It's very good for publicity, but if you don't believe in devil, you don't believe in curses. Simple.
The set was plagued by accidents and injuries, including a crew member who lost a toe and another who cut off his thumb. Plus, Blair fractured her spine. On top of all of that, a fire burned down the set before shooting even started. The only part that survived was Reagan's bedroom. The cause was never found.
I remember that was terrible. Shut down. I think it shut us down for about 6 weeks.
They couldn't find an electrical problem. They couldn't find an arsonist. They couldn't find any substantial reason that occurred.
Number 2, more tragic deaths. Poltergeist franchise. If I were an actor, I wouldn't go anywhere near this series. Between the first and third films in the original trilogy, 4 members of the main cast passed away. First, Dominique Dunne, who plays older sister Dana, was strangled to death by her ex-boyfriend exactly 5 months after Poltergeist was released.
Our emotions would swing from absolute despair to, come on, she's still here. As long as she's still here, there's still a chance it's going to be okay.
But it wasn't going to be okay. After 4 days, Dominique Dunne was taken off life support and declared officially dead.
Then Julian Beck, who plays the evil Reverend Kane in Poltergeist 2, died of stomach cancer just 2 months after filming wrapped on that movie.
We looked at this man who looked like he was about to die, telling us that you're all going to die. And some of the people claimed that they were very affected by it.
About 1 year after that, the actor who played the Native American shaman, Will Sampson, died from kidney failure at age 53.
The cast of Poltergeist suffered another loss. Will Sampson, who played the role of the shaman, died from complications during a heart and lung transplant.
And star Heather O'Rourke passed away due to a congenital issue 4 months before the release of Poltergeist 3. She was only 12 years old.
If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take.
That was lovely.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Liz Moore's death. The Omen. We'd have to make a whole other video to cover all the bizarre things that happened with this movie. For one thing, 3 different planes were struck by lightning during production, each carrying one of the film's major players.
Peck's plane was coming over, a TWA flight that was a direct flight from LA, everybody was always on, it got hit by lightning. 3 days later, David Seltzer was on the same flight, his plane was hit by lightning.
Far more horrifying is what took place about 2 months after the movie's release, on Friday, August 13th. Special effects artist John Richardson and his assistant Liz Moore were driving in the Netherlands when they were in an accident. Richardson was mostly unharmed, but Moore was decapitated by a flying tire.
John Richardson was on a bridge too far in Belgium. He was our special effects man. He had a beautiful girlfriend. He was driving and had a head-on accident.
The incident bore a disturbing resemblance to a decapitation in the movie. Even more unsettling, it happened right next to a road sign for the town of Omen, which was exactly 66.6 kilometers away.
And so his girl was beheaded, and then he woke up and he saw Liège, 66.6 kilometers. That was frightening.
Which of these coincidences freaked you out the most? Let us know in the comments below.
Nothing prepares you for something like that. You've gone from one world to the polar opposite in a split second.
Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.